So if you're playing Battlefield 6 or RedSec and you're a controller player, then this is an extremely important video for you. We got some really important patch notes earlier today, which we will quickly cover. And then we're going to also do a deep dive into the changes in terms of what are the best settings for all these new aim assist adjustments that we're going to be getting inside these patch notes, which by the way is all live right now in the game. And also these patch note changes, just to quickly update you, will reset your aim assist settings. So you might as well watch this video and get the correct settings when you jump straight back into the game. So as you can see here, we'll have the patch notes up on the screen. We've got some content patches as well, so I do want to quickly cover that because it's some cool stuff in here. As you can see, we've got the 1.1.2.0 update. They don't really name these too well, but as you can see, this is from the official Battlefield Twitter page, and as you can see, we've got the California Resistance update, which includes a lot of content. And we've got the Eastwood map, we've got variations of it for all game modes. As you can see, we've got the changes to conquest and things. We've got a new limited time mode, sabotage, as well, and then we've also got two new weapons, a shotgun and a sidearm, coming to the game too, which should already be in the game, by the way. And then we've got a new mission type for the gauntlet mode, which is the free game mode that you get with Battlefield RedSec. We've got some portal changes as well. So this is all the aim assist details. We don't need to cover this part. This is just the kind of general what they felt like they had to change, but these are the actual changes right here. So aim assist is fully reset to the open beta tuning, with related options reset to default to ensure consistency. So like I said, all those settings within your game will be reset, so that's why you need to watch this video. So they fixed an issue where vehicle stick acceleration presets would affect infantry aiming, which is crazy. I didn't know that was even a thing. Fixed an issue where setting stick acceleration presets to standard would set aiming left right options incorrectly at 50% instead of 70%. Missing infantry and vehicle prefixes. Missing an issue where dead zones would ignore the first 10% of movement if using a PS5 controller on PC. So apparently that issue was not on other controllers, it was only on PS5, and I was using a PS5 controller on PC, so this was affecting me personally. Fixed an issue where player movement left stick would not register until beyond 30%, which is insane, by the way. Fixed joystick aiming input behavior. Fixed short sprint restart animation when landing from small heights. But then what I'll do is I'll leave a link to the patch notes down in the comments below as well. But we've got some weapon changes as well. We've got a dispersion tuning pass. Actually getting into the controller settings now, if you don't know how to do that, you want to scroll all the way down to controller, hit triangle, then hit X. This takes you into the aim settings, but we've got a couple more things we want to show you after this page. Now you can copy this exactly and then tune it around to what you want, and I'll again tell you what you need to tune. Infantry aim sensitivity, this is the one that you can tune around. From 50 to 70 is a good range. I like 60, it feels good to me. Field of view, again, personal preference. I like whacking this all the way up. That is just my preference because you get to see a lot more. When it comes to the ratios, you need to have these set to 56. Both is perfect, right? That is the best setting. When it comes to uniform infantry aiming, turn this off. You always need to have this off. When it comes to infantry aim assist, I recommend don't go any higher than 90 on aim assist, and the reason for that is because it actually feels really strong in this game, and it almost locks you on too much. I know it sounds really weird to say, but when you're trying to like maybe trying to acquire a different target that's not the one that you initially aimed at, it's kind of difficult, right? So please don't go any higher than 90 on this. Allow yourself some wiggle room to actually play the game. I think that's kind of the main thing here. So always have your slowdown slightly higher than your aim assist. It will feel a lot better to you. Then when it comes to the infantry aim input curve, this is the important bits because I've tried every single one of them in the firing range. And the best one is Battlefield 4 or Standard, right? The only two options you should be using is Battlefield 4 or Standard. I think Battlefield 4 is the best. The same goes for the infantry zoom curve as well, Standard or Battlefield 4. But weirdly enough, the zoom Battlefield Bad Company 2 felt really good as well. So I don't really know why, but it has a weird curve to it. But I still think Battlefield 4 would be the best for most people. Then you want to choose Standard for your acceleration preset because you can actually set the acceleration. It used to be the case that you could have the Bad Company one, but now that doesn't let you do anything. So you want to have the acceleration set, and then you want to set it to between 30 and 40. I think that's a good sweet spot range. You can even bump it up to like 45. That's not too bad as well. It just depends on how fast you like your movements. All the rest of this stuff is pretty standard, basically based off of the movement and what buttons you want to press, but that is personal preference here. Again, we're going to keep it on aiming for now. So then when it comes to infantry zoom sensitivity aim, have this set to 100 because this means that you get your maximum zoom when you're not ADS'd, right? And then what it does is you then adjust it per optic that you're planning on using. Now, I like to bump this down to 90. I had it at 95 before this update, but I feel like you need to reduce it a bit further now because it almost doesn't lock you on nearly as much. So you want to make sure you have that fine tuning set yourself manually. And this is how you do it, right? So all the low zoom optics, you can obviously stop this at whatever point you want. I'd recommend having between 80 and 90. That is a perfect range. You could go slower than that if you really want to, but I don't really think you have to. Now, the other super important thing you want to do, and this is infantry only, by the way, we're not really going to cover vehicles. I don't really use vehicles too much, and even when I do, I have everything set to default anyway. All the way down, you want to scroll all the way down to other, and then hit controller tuning. This is another really important thing because they actually changed dead zones with this update. So when it comes to vibration, all these things, you can do personal preference. Once again, I usually have it all off, and that's what I would recommend. But when it comes to dead zones, now people have gotten used to actually playing with the dead zone. So what happened before the update was if you had this set to 0, it actually still had some dead zone to it. But now if you have this set to 0, it has no dead zone whatsoever, right? So you will start getting stick drift if you have an old controller. So me personally, I bumped this kind of back up a little bit farther than what I had before. I actually had this set down to 2, and I had the axial dead zone set down to 4, right? It was 2 and 4. And what happened was I got used to aiming with the kind of dead zone settings of Battlefield 6. So this is the bit that you want to play around with, right? So even if you've had a dead zone at 0, which people have maybe recommended to you in videos or whatever, you then want to bump up your dead zone to 2, right? Or 1, something like that, because you've probably gotten used to playing with a 2 dead zone, but you just don't even know about it, right? So make sure you try and play around with that. And then your axial dead zone should always just be 2 above what you just had for the center dead zone. And that is the best way I can describe this to you. So I had my dead zone, like I said, at 2 before, then I bumped it up by 2 more to make it feel exactly the same before the update. But if you don't want to have any dead zone and you prefer playing that way, and that is the way you play most other games, then you can dial this all the way down now to 0, and then that would be perfect for you. And again, like I said, have that axial dead zone set to just 2 above 0, which would be 2 obviously. So just quickly showing you these settings inside the firing range so you know I'm not talking absolute rubbish when I'm giving you these kind of tips. As you can see here, we're able to aim and lock onto enemies pretty well at range here. This is the firing range. Obviously, no one's really moving here, which is a bit difficult. And obviously, the M4 is not the most accurate gun. But as you can see, we're able to acquire targets super easily. We're able to tap fire as well. Some weapon bloom has been taken away from certain guns. But as you can see, you only need some slight adjustments left and right. And that can be changed with, like I said, the sensitivities. So all you need to do is play around with the sensitivities to fine tune for what you need and your controller. And then that would be perfect for you. But if you enjoyed this video and you learned something new, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, as we'll be making tons more Battlefield 6 content. And thank you very much for watching.